Bernie here. As president, I will work tirelessly to transform our nation's public lands policy from corporate exploitation to zero cut, zero commercial extraction of resources from our public lands.
Now, Bernie, that's just naive and dangerous pandemic. Pandering. Sorry, pandering.
You mean pandering? Okay, yeah, well, whatever.
Fuck you, Bernie.
Yeah. Furthermore, we will restore our forest ecosystems without regard to the big timber interests. They will need to manage their lands for the long term.
Now, Bernie, that's just unrealistic, an idealistic vision. It's much better if the corporations volunteer to do better.
Yeah. Oi. As president, I will ensure that every household in America receives a huge, huge wheel of Vermont-style cheddar cheese.
Now, Bernie, that's a good idea.
I thought so. That's right. Okay. Next up. Up here on the stage, Isaac Paris. He's a Eugene-based art educator who moved here from Fairbanks, Alaska. He loves nature, video games, cartoons, bonsai trees. He has performed everywhere: Fairbanks, Eugene, Toronto, New York. He's glad to be here, using his powers for good. For his second year, thanks.
Thank you. Lovely to be here. Cottage Grove, I love it. Yeah, I moved to Eugene from Fairbanks, Alaska. I found that in Eugene I was handsome. I wasn't handsome in Fairbanks. I was just the guy with the smallest beard in town. But Eugene's got that perfect mix of facial hair fetish and daddy issues, so I do all right. How is it going tonight? Lovely to be here doing stand-up in the day, my friend Russell pointed out, with the sunlight still out. We're like vampires. We don't usually come out in the day, but we're glad to do it for the trees. This is the kind of thing I do every day. If I could tell stand-up to help trees, I would gladly do it constantly, every single day. Usually I'm teaching kids in public schools. Anybody here work in public schools? We got a couple. All right. You know, I see some women raise their hands. And I want to point out to you, mostly it's boys who drop out of school. And one of my theories is that schools seem like women's spaces. Because I walk in, and I'm one of the only men there. And the secretaries are women, and the teachers are women. Often the principal's a woman, the librarian's a woman. And then what's on the walls but like art, you know, and doilies. I think that boys wouldn't drop out so much if there were more piles of broken glass and wood with rusty nails sticking out of it, just filling the halls. Then boys could feel more welcome in schools. Yeah. Every single day as a substitute, I go through this awkward moment where I read the students' names. Oh, and it's awful because 14 to 16 years ago, these hippie moms named their kids some crazy things. I'm like, Holo? Is that your name? Yeah, my parents blended Han and Solo into one name. It's cool. It's cool. It's good. Shalamisha. Is that how I say it? It's Shalamesha. Sorry. I'm sorry. Tijuana Cupcake. Come on, guys. Someone gave me a prank one, right? Is this a burlesque show or is it a public school? No one would be named Tijuana Cupcake. Oh, I'm sorry, Tijuana. I didn't mean you any offense. That's fine. Your parents can name me that if they want to. One time I was using my improv skills in a public school. Let me tell you this story. Because I was with some 5-year-olds in the special needs spectrum, and we were on a field trip, and our bus was late. And these children were not willing to sit and wait for a bus. So I needed to call on my improv powers and tell them, kids, let's all sit down. Let's imagine we're seeing a fantastic fireworks display, okay? And we're all going to sit very quietly and look up in the sky and tell me the explosions that you see in the sky. What do you see? What do you see? And one of them's like, I see pink rocket ships with Mario mushrooms and princess stars. That's great. Yes, that's the kind of thing we need. Uh-oh, this kid, he's grumpy. He's walking away. Michael, I'm sorry, Michael. What is it? What do you see? I see a man with a beard lying to children. Shh, it's just our secret. Come on, come back. The bus will be here soon, Michael. But I like working with kids. It's great. Okay, let's do the list. You know, what's my list? Okay, my dad loves sports, and I don't. And this is an impression I do of my dad watching sports. Yeah! Yeah! Oh, yeah! Yes! 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 Oh, no! 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 Oh, no! And this is for people who he's never met, who are thousands of miles away. And this is my impression of my dad watching me in one of my childhood choir or drama performances. Can we go? Isaac's song is, can we go? Oh, there's a second act. Okay, all right, okay. So, Disney was able to make a successful Star Wars, and I think they should just acquire the whole Pentagon. I had an odd job one summer. I went to Cape Cod, and I was willing to rename rich people's boats for them. I visited a rich person's house who had a breakfast room, and I thought, if a hobbit were to make it, he would have 3 of these. Anybody here like the Ninja Turtles? They would have had completely different names if Splinter had been in a different kind of art. You know, he'd be like, and my sons, I named them after my favorite abstract expressionist minimalist painters. Agnes Martin, Joan Miro, Mark Rothko, and Robert Rauschenberg. They really blew it when they named the 5th turtle the girl turtle. They named her Venus de Milo. So they named her after a painting by Titian rather than naming her after a female Renaissance artist like Artemisia Gentileschi. Whoa, you blew it, guys. And that rhymes with party pizza hentai messy. There's so much to go with. So they sent girls everywhere the message, girls don't make art, girls are works of art. Well, no, we don't stand for that, Peter and Laird. So speaking of pop culture, I like the pop culture of my own childhood, and I feel it's such a shame that the kids today have such garbage, empty, vapid pop culture to grow up with. And I realize that every single generation feels that way. I'm sure back in 1937, when people were watching Snow White for the first time, they were like, what is this, color? And why do their arms and legs bend at the joints? That's not entertainment. Give me Mickey Mouse chewing tobacco and playing a goat's teeth like a xylophone. That's what I know. That's what I like. I have an idea for a Civil War video game. Ken Burns' Civil War. It's just like 16 hours of marching, and then you die of dysentery before you ever encounter the enemy. Is that too soon? Sorry. I have a plan for a metal band that's going to cover boy band songs. We're called One Infection. One time I worked for an Elton John show. I was on the crew, and there was an odd request. I thought I had to sign something that said, under no conditions will a member of the crew speak to Sir Elton John. And I thought, that's really weird. That's weird. It doesn't seem very knight-like of you, Sir Elton, to refuse to be spoken to by a plebeian like me. What if there's a fire? Am I allowed to tell Elton John to leave the building in the case of a fire? I guess not. Just want to say, England, your knights are old white men. If you're ever challenged to gladiatorial battle, I think you're in trouble. And one of them is weak to fire. I went to a poly meetup in Eugene. That was kind of fun. And then later in the day, I went to a bluegrass jam. I thought, it's a shame these can't be combined because poly people can't pick. Some of you. All right. Cool. I like to cultivate an air of mysteriousness in my relationship. And my girlfriend calls that poor communication skills. Someone asked me, Isaac, do you live alone? I said, no, I live with millions of bacteria inside me. Are there any gun owners in this room? Yeah, a couple? Cool. I met someone in Alaska. He was a bush teacher, and he owned so many guns, he didn't know how many guns he owned. And I thought, that's not safe. How many guns do you own? I was asking him, and he's like, I don't know. I own more than 17, but not more than... I own more than 13, but not more than 17, something like that. And I was like, I'm sorry. That's not safe. You know, someone could steal your 15th most favorite gun, and you wouldn't even necessarily know it was gone. And then they could commit a crime with your gun. That's not cool. And he said, I know that sounds like a lot, but there's only like 9 of them that are in working condition. The others I just hold on to out of nostalgia. You know, I plan to fix them someday, but I probably never will. So I'm making fun of this guy, and someone points out to me, Isaac, people are into different things. You know, this guy likes guns. What do you like? And I said, I like comic books. How many comic books do you own, Isaac? Well, I don't know how many comic books I own. More than 10,000, but less than 14,000, I suppose. And they said, do you mean someone could steal your 10,031st favorite comic book and you wouldn't notice? Yeah, I guess so. I know that sounds like a lot, but only like 7,000 of them are any good. Thank you. My name is Isaac. You guys are in for a treat with lots of other great performers tonight. I love Cottage Grove and I love trees. Thanks for having me.